The cost of admission. Hello, my name is Ronnie, and I'm an addict. Necromancy mostly. I've been clean for 90 days. The community room of St. Cyril's smelled like burnt coffee, old wood polish, and mildew. 13 battered wooden fold-out chairs were arranged in a ring facing each other inside a chalk protection circle. The circle wasn't much, but it diluted the hum of ambient magic. Old churches, like St. Cyril's, didn't need divinity to thrum with energy. They were emotional landfills. Weddings, funerals, whispered confessions, desperate prayers. It all soaked into the wooden stone like blood into old floorboards. Over the years it built up, layer after layer. Guilt, grief, shame, hope. Compressed until the place was a live wire. Not consecrated, just emotionally resonant. For those of us tuned in, it's enough to make your teeth rattle. The measly protection the circle Jacob scrawled on the floor amounts to chewing gum on a flight to avoid your ears from popping. But hey, it's something. He'd rather not explain to the padre why the floor had runes carved with a black steel blade and filled with red wax laced with silver, salt, and grave dirt. Nothing says trust me like occult etchings in a church basement. There was a murmur of congratulations from the group. Jacob tracked every flicker of response. It was emotional triage for subtle shifts in mood, tension, posture. His job wasn't just to keep the circle intact. It was to read the fault lines before they cracked open. He wasn't a therapist. He wasn't a priest. But in this room, in this ritual, he was the keystone everyone leaned on. And the weight added up. Jerry, slouched with meaty arms crossed, eyes beady and suspicious, like he was weighing every word, deciding whether it was bullshit. His response was three-quarters grunt. But Jacob knew that Jerry's silences often meant more than his outbursts. He was slow to trust, slower to speak. But once he did, you damn well better listen. If it wasn't important, he wouldn't have wasted the effort. Diane mouthed the words, posture perfect, expression arctic, composed to the point of discomfort. Her gaze flicked across the circle like she was taking inventory. Mitch, her husband, sat in the chair by the door, unblinking, hands folded neatly in his lap. He didn't respond at all. He never did, not unless Diane told him to. It was like watching a puppet, waiting for the next string to twitch. And Jacob didn't think he wanted to know where those strings were attached. Caleb, the new kid, didn't bother looking up from his phone. Same posture as always. Slouched, disengaged, like he was auditing a community college class and wasn't impressed. He'd shown up a few times, but never spoke, never shared. Jake didn't know why he kept coming back, and that was part of why he kept watching. For some, the words were just reflex, ritual, but not for Tess. Jacob saw the warmth in her face, the pride, heard the quiet earnestness in her voice. It bolstered Ronnie, lent weight to his words, like her belief made the words more real. Ronnie lifted his chin a little when he continued, his nervous smile gaining confidence. It started when my dog died. I ain't got nobody else. I took it kind of hard, you know. He was just a little guy, a chihuahua. He only had 3 legs. When I found him, one of them was gone, clean, like it'd never been there. He wasn't much to look at, just a scrappy little thing with a crooked ear and bug eyes like he'd seen some stuff. We had that in common, I guess, he said, a little proud, a little sad. I named him Chalupa. There was a quiet snort from Caleb, half amusement, half disbelief. Diane rolled her eyes. She'd heard the story before and resented its sentimentality. Jacob watched Tess instead. She'd heard it too, more than once. Ronnie told it often. And every time, she listened like it was the first. She knew what was important to him. That was enough. Tess didn't laugh. She gave a small smile, like the name meant something, like she could see him, this tiny, lopsided dog, proud despite the limp. We looked after each other, and that's how it all started, you know. When he died, I was alone, again. I just kind of felt around, poked around for his spirit to see if he was still with me. Then I started communing with him, which was comforting. Ronnie glanced at Caleb, like he knew the kid was listening even if he was pretending not to. I ain't talking full-on possession or nothing. Communing's more like tuning a radio. You don't see 'em, but you feel 'em. Their weight in the room. When I found him, I would bind him to this raggedy little stuffed bear he would play with. I called it his baby. Binding gives them something to hold on to, an anchor. Without it, they drift. When he was in there, the bear would be warm. I could feel him, He glanced back at the circle, voice softening. Right there with me. I wasn't alone.